How does a prisoner with no home, no allies, and nothing to lose rise to become the head of a notorious crime clan? That's the electrifying story we're recapping today. The Outsider, starring Jared Leto, as an American plunged deep into the heart of Japan's brutal Yakuza underworld. In post-war Japan, 1954, American soldier Nick Lowell is incarcerated in a prison in Osaka. One day, he saves the life of a man who was ambushed and hanged by the other inmates. When the prison guards find out, they beat him up and throw him in a cell with the man he rescued. The man's name is Kiyoshi.
My name is Kiyoshi.
And he, along with the other inmates, are members of the Yakuza. With Nick's help, Kiyoshi executes a daring escape, faking suicide. Soon after, Kiyoshi's family, the powerful Shiramatsu clan of Osaka, secures Nick's early release. Grateful for saving Kiyoshi's life, they offer Nick a job. He's to negotiate with an American businessman named Anthony Panetti, who has been giving the clan problems. During the discussion, Panetti proves obstinate, and Nick bashes his head in with a typewriter. At the clan's private club, some members of a rival Yakuza clan walk in. They're the Shizu family, and the man Nick assaulted works for them. One of them makes fun of Nick, and he responds by smashing a bottle on his head. The scene teeters on the brink of violence, but the Shizu men, sensing they're outnumbered, back down. That night, Nick is rewarded with a new apartment and suit, officially becoming an enforcer for the clan. Back at the club, not all members of the Shiramatsu are huge fans of Nick. Orochi, in particular, one of the senior members of the clan, hates his guts and insists on referring to him as a Gaijin, or an outsider. He wants Kiyoshi to get rid of him, but Kiyoshi chooses to defend him. Later that night, Kiyoshi asks Nick to take his younger sister, Miyu, home after he spots her dancing drunkenly at the club. Nick falls for her, and the two end up spending the night together. The next day, Kiyoshi has a job for Nick. He's to carry out a black market weapons deal with the U.S. at the Osaka port, a mission the family doesn't want to be openly associated with. Nick arrives at the port as planned, but meets only a dead worker and senses that something is wrong. Before he can react, he's ambushed by Shizu men. They search his truck, but can't find the money he was supposed to bring for the deal. As they're about to execute him, Nick deftly snatches the gun from one of the men, killing two of them and disarming the others. Back in base, the patriarch of the Shiramatsu, the elderly Akihiro, has called for a meeting. Akihiro is furious because not only was the botched mission carried out without his approval, but valuable men were also lost. They suspect there's a mole within the clan, but no one knows who it is. He demands to know who was behind the deal, and Nick, Kiyoshi, and Orochi all take the blame. To show their remorse for dishonoring the leader, Nick and Kiyoshi cut off their fingers for Akihiro, who then sends the fingers to the Shizu boss as an apology. While this is going on, Orochi whispers in Kiyoshi's ear that Nick has been sleeping with Miyu. He followed the pair the night Nick dropped her off. Following this act of remorse, Akihiro decides he can trust Nick, and he is officially brought into the family as a son during a private initiation ceremony. That night, Kiyoshi reveals to Nick that he knows he slept with Miyu. Kiyoshi accepts the fact that Miyu can be with whomever she wants, but for her safety, he doesn't want her dating Yakuza, and that includes Nick. As time goes on, Nick grows into the clan's ways and traditions, but continues to spend time with Miyu in secret. Meanwhile, Tensions between the Shiramatsu and the Shizu continue to rise. The Shizu clan make a business proposal to Akihiro, which could benefit the family economically, but everything about the offer insults Akihiro's pride, and he refuses. This angers Orochi, who feels the patriarch is too archaic in his thinking and isn't doing what's best for the family. But no one takes him seriously. Drunk and angry, Orochi stumbles over to Miyu's place and assaults her. At a sumo wrestling match, Akihiro and the Shizu leader meet, and the latter lays out his entire plan. He intends to fold the entire Shiramatsu family into Shizu under the guise of an economic partnership, stripping Akihiro of his leadership. Akihiro is disgusted by this and walks away. On the way back home, Nick is accosted by an American soldier, Paulie, on leave, who calls his name.
Hey, it's me, it's Paulie.
Here, we finally get a backstory to Nick. He's an ex-US military captain who had been missing and presumed dead. Nick isn't interested in catching up on old times and turns down the man's offer to visit. Paulie is offended and threatens to report Nick for absconding from his duty post. Nick appears to change his mind and invites the man over for a drink. Paulie is happy to accept, and they head over to Nick's apartment. Right there in the kitchen, Nick slits his throat. He then goes over to Miyu's and finds her covered in bruises, but she refuses to tell him who did it. She reveals that she's pregnant with their child. Nick breaks the news to Kiyoshi, begging his forgiveness for going against his instruction. Kiyoshi gives Nick a pair of swords that were passed down from his father, charging him to protect Miyu and their baby. The next day, Nick and Kiyoshi take Akihiro to the tailor shop for a fitting. There, Nick suspects that they've walked into an ambush and saves Akihiro just in time from being murdered. As they attempt to escape, Shizu men show up and shoot Kiyoshi through the window. He dies in Nick's arms. Akihiro is informed that 1/5 of his men were in on the plan and have deflected to the Shizu. Furious, he declares war, and all around town, Shizu men are dropped like flies. The Shizu boss then sends a message to Akihiro, requesting a no-arms meeting to broker a truce. At the meeting point, the Shiramatsu are shocked to find that the mole who betrayed them is Orochi. Even still, Akihiro, holding a soft spot for his adopted son, offers forgiveness. But Orochi's response is a literal stab in the back. Akihiro falls. His remaining men are subdued, and the Shiramatsu club is burned to the ground. Nick hurries to Miyu's and tells her to pack a bag so they can run away. But before that, he has one more meeting. Still injured, he stumbles into the Shizu mansion with Kiyoshi's sword and demands a duel with Orochi. Orochi mocks him and refuses, taunting him that he will always be an outsider. As he is handed back his weapon, Nick moves quickly, catching everyone off guard, and slices Orochi's throat. Having carried out the revenge he came for, Nick is allowed to leave. He heads back to a safe house, where Miyu has been kept in hiding, with the remaining few members of the Shiramatsu on guard. The men bow to him, acknowledging him as the new leader of the clan. And that's The Outsider in a nutshell. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe for more movie recaps from around the world.